What if I told you that the man who created the most famous ceiling in history was once considered a complete failure as a painter? That the man who sculpted David, the symbol of perfection, was once so tormented he smashed his own artwork in a fit of rage? Michelangelo Buonarroti wasn't born into comfort or confidence. As a child, his mother died young, and his father constantly belittled his passion for art, calling it beneath their noble bloodline. He was mocked, misunderstood, and even physically attacked by jealous rivals. One punch broke his nose for life. But the real breakdown? He was commissioned to carve 40 life-sized statues for Pope Julius II's tomb, and after years of obsession, war, politics, and papal drama, the whole thing got cancelled. His masterpiece became a shadow of what it was meant to be. Michelangelo spiraled into isolation, bitterness, and nearly quit. But just when he felt buried, a new challenge arose. The Sistine Chapel ceiling, staring up at 12,000 square feet of ceiling that Pope Julius II wants him to paint. Mind you, Michelangelo doesn't even consider himself a painter. His enemies pushed for it, hoping he'd fail publicly. But Michelangelo didn't flinch. Just years before, he'd been rejected by multiple patrons. His early works were criticized as too raw, too emotional. He'd even been kicked off a painting project in Florence because his techniques were considered unrefined. The art establishment saw him as this rough, temperamental sculptor who couldn't handle the delicate art of painting. Standing in that chapel, neck craned back, Michelangelo felt like a fraud. He'd never painted a fresco before. He didn't know the techniques. He was literally learning as he went, and for months, sections of his work began peeling off the ceiling because he mixed the plaster wrong. But here's where everything changed. Instead of quitting, Michelangelo made a radical decision. He locked himself inside for 4 years, battled migraines, back pain, and self-doubt, painting lying on scaffolding. He fired all his assistants. Yes, all of them, and decided to paint the entire ceiling himself. While lying on his back on scaffolding, paint dripping into his eyes for 4 grueling years, he had a mindset shift. He stopped trying to paint like other artists and started painting like Michelangelo. He brought his sculptor's understanding of the human form to the ceiling. Every figure became a 3-dimensional masterpiece painted on a flat surface. What happened next changed art history forever. A staggering 343 figures, including the creation of Adam, one of the most iconic images in history. The Sistine Chapel ceiling became the gold standard for Renaissance art. But Michelangelo didn't stop there. He went on to complete the statue of David, design the dome of St. Peter's Basilica, and create countless masterpieces that still leave people speechless 500 years later. The man who was once told he couldn't paint became the artist that other masters studied. The failed painter became the standard by which all artists are measured. Today, millions of people crane their necks in the Sistine Chapel, staring at the work of a man who almost gave up on painting before he truly began. That ceiling wasn't just a triumph of technique. It was a declaration. Even in the face of betrayal, burnout, and fear, Michelangelo could transform agony into eternal beauty. He transformed his greatest weakness into his most celebrated strength. He went on to sculpt the Pietà, David, and design the dome of St. Peter's Basilica. He died at 88, working until his last breath. Michelangelo's story reminds us that sometimes our biggest failures are just setups for our greatest successes. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once a disaster. As Mr. Ambot would say, you failed when you stop.